Hey, hi Koel, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Long time. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. I still remember the first time. The first time I met you was at least about a decade back, and
2010. Yes, you're right. Must be.
2011ish. Yeah,
Yeah,
2010,
10,
11ish.
11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of common connects there. But then, yeah,
yeah.
I think we hardly spoke then. But you're surely one of those influencers who who have just left a positive vibe. So thank you for that, and again
Sure.
thank you for taking out time just to
Thank you.
refresh on the quarantine toasters. This is a series that I've just started in this pandemic tough times, wherein I'm talking to some of the influencers from my LinkedIn connects like you, and those who have influenced me in some or the other way, and just trying to take the inspiration and spread it further. So thank you. I know you have an extremely tough schedule. We have been finally been able to manage some time
Yeah.
out of it. It's a lot of to and
Yeah, I
fro.
know. Sorry about that.
No, no,
Days
but
are really packed, and
yeah,
then it has been
seriously,
worse. It's been
yeah.
worse from the time the quarantine started. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think the silliest thing, which in my opinion is, now you have to manage the time for your own meal, right?
Yeah.
Which is so strange, and now that is becoming the new normal, right? So managing the time for your own meal. So yeah. So tell me something about that. How is your schedule? I mean, how have you been coping up?
Yeah, so of course, all the people, we had to turn our schedule upside down. So I think now looking back, I think I used to have such an easy life, and I used to complain about that life.
Same story with
So, but
everyone.
now, yeah, so now without domestic help in India, right? We are
Oh
so
yeah,
dependent on domestic help.
sure.
So my typical schedule is, I get up, and of course, then my domestic duties, phase one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first thing in the morning. So after having tea, it is doing the dishes and cleaning the house. Some days, if I do not have early calls, I'm not an early riser. I start little late and end late. So, like if
Good.
I do not have say 9 o'clock, 9:30 calls, so I will do some cleaning of the home like a maid will do, and then I start working. And of course, I can't cook during the day. Days are packed, as you have seen, right? So
Yeah.
it's not possible. So I have my breakfast while working, and then some days, if I'm lucky, I manage a 30 minutes lunch break. Sometimes I have to push my meeting, request
Yeah.
people saying that, guys, I need to eat, so please give me my 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
yeah,
so normal nowadays, right?
yeah,
Everyone thought these are tough times personally, but professionally it's even more
no.
challenging.
No, I know.
Uh,
And yeah, and then my rest of the day. So then I have another 3 4 hours of work, and then so 6:30 to 10 p.m. is something time which I cannot take calls. So
okay.
I work in a global setup. So we work with Europe, in Latin America, US. So I just say that I can't take. So I do three things during that time. I take my walk. So within my society,
Nice.
I take try to do 1.5 hours every day,
Good.
and then I cook, then I eat. Okay.
Wow.
So after I finish eating, so 10 o'clock or 10:30, I'm like, okay, I can take any amount of calls as you need. But it's not like that every day. Then I get back to my Netflix routine, which is like, it's like a bliss. Oh,
Oh
now I have
yeah.
some time to myself. So that's how the day looks.
Yeah, I mean the OTT platforms have changed the way how we plan our schedules. I think
Exactly.
the OTT is taking
Exactly.
about 20% of the total internet traffic. No one would have thought that ever. That's how
Yeah.
the landscape
Yeah,
has been
that's true.
changing. One of the best thing call about interacting with you is the amount of passion and the amount of excitement that still comes in from you in every interaction. That is really amazing after what 25 years of
Yeah.
experience.
Almost.
Almost
Yeah, almost
25
there.
years.
Almost there. Almost there. Not yet.
Almost
Two
there,
more years
yeah.
to go.
Almost there, yeah, almost there.
Yeah,
so so
yeah.
so I've always been kind of self questioning myself that after a certain age or after a certain experience, does the word dream is still relevant for people like you? You know, are you in a state of mind where you say, all right, 25 years of my life, 2 decades, I've done what I wanted. There is nothing more to look forward to in terms of dreaming. So is that still a relevant word for you?
Yeah, it is. So I'll just tell you a small story. I'm a little bit of a storyteller, so pardon
Amazing.
me.
Go
I
ahead.
keep breaking. So in my first job, I'll not take the name of the company. When I
Sure.
joined as a GT, right? So the whole GT group met the CEO.
Okay.
So the CEO, one thing that has stayed with me, he said that dream big. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't dream big, you can't achieve anything in life. And it's been almost 25 years that I have forgotten his face, but that
Sure.
word has stayed with me. And I am a dreamer. I'm a big dreamer. I'm self motivated, self driven. So there is always looking forward to something. So, and being in telecom, I think the way technology has evolved, how rapidly things have changed, that itself has been like a dream come true to be able to be associated with such a dynamic industry. And then I look forward, right? Today we are working on 5G, and then there will be 6G, 7G. So
Yeah.
that is more from the telecom perspective. And then I have personal dreams of what I want to achieve apart
Sure.
from work. So, like, I'm an avid traveler. So, I love traveling. I love cooking. I post a lot. So, okay, one more interesting thing. During the
Sure.
lockdown, I had vouched to post a food picture every day, but I
Wow.
didn't know lockdown was going to be so long. So, I'm kind of stuck in my own words, but I continue to do that. So, on my Instagram, on Facebook, I post a food picture every day. So, that's one of my
Wow. Glad you're
passions.
getting so much time.
No,
Or you're
you have to
finding such
survive,
time.
right?
Yeah.
You have to eat. You have to eat, right? You have to cook. So you just click a pretty picture, that's it, and post it.
Wow. Wow.
So I have passions of photography, of traveling. So I want to do something around those. And then also I have dreams of doing something for the society, giving back.
Wonderful.
I dream for the, yeah, I dream for the country, for our country to change. And I think there is so much more to do. So there is no end of dreams. Dreams die the
Absolutely.
way the day you die. So if you
Wow. Well
say,
said.
if I'm a human being, I will dream. So we continue to dream till our last breath, I think. So dreams always stay
Wow.
with us. And if you don't have dreams, you can't live, right? What do you live for? So yeah, I think
Yeah.
dreams remain relevant for our entire life. Yeah, that's how I look at it.
Not also amazing. You touched back on your first boss or your first CEO on what he said about 25 years back. So how important it is, or how much have you to strive to keep yourself relevant, right? There are things changing so much. I'm sure 25 years would not have been a honeymoon period, right? It would have
No,
shown
of
you a lot
course.
of ups and downs. And then there are constant challenges. You have so many people around you who also strive to get better of you. There is so much expectation, there is so much competition. So how do you keep yourself relevant in this?
So I think learning is very important, especially if you are a part of a industry which changing, which changes so rapidly.
Sure.
So self learning is important, and that's what I keep everybody who I keep telling people who work for me that nobody is going to teach you. You have to learn yourself. We learn for ourselves to continue to remain relevant. So as I told, I think I'm very fortunate to be associated with such a dynamic industry, and it has been fascinating. So first 10 years of my life I was more on the wireline side, and I kind of drove the changeover from narrowband to broadband on the wireline. Then I
Wow.
joined the mobility industry, and then started from 2.5G. That's where when I joined the mobility industry. And then now we are on 5G. Like every 2 years, we see a technology cycle changing. And
Yeah.
the only way to be relevant is to keep studying. And especially
Yeah.
when you get into leadership roles like myself, I I may not, it's not necessary for me to know about 5G, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if I'm not, then I become a management jargon. I only talk
Yeah.
management jargon, and I don't talk the real thing. Because I
Yeah.
think technology and business for me are two sides of the same coin. Because
Sure.
especially when we are in the business of technology, right? If you
Yeah.
don't know the technology, you can't do business. So then your words don't have any value. So I am very particular. I really, I really keep myself abreast. I learn all the new stuff. And
Sure.
I'll not say that I will go into bits and bytes. So I think I have my teams to
Sure.
work on that. But when there is a deep dive required,
Sorry.
I make sure I go deep. So I can go very deep. Even today, I can work with a team member, go very very deep down to bits and bytes on a case to case basis. And I am interested. It's not like
Oh,
somebody is forcing me to do that. I like doing that. So I like doing that because of the fact that I think if you don't understand bits of bytes of technology,
sure.
you cannot be a decision maker on the business side, which I am more practically. So yeah, but
Absolutely.
it has been fun. Telecom is fun. You don't have to force yourself to be relevant. You just enjoy it.
Wow, wow. So much wisdom for a lot of listeners in the past 3 4 minutes. Wonderful, Koel. So as you've been referring to this telco industry or this vertical in in our discussion, there are, I mean, how I look at it, personally, is there are four there are four key pillars to it. The larger ecosystem is of the vendor, the operator, the community, and the fourth pillar is, of course, the enabling technology, right? So if you were given an opportunity, right, say, to govern this entire ecosystem for a year, of course there are pros and cons of it, but then how would you make it more effective and nimbler? Are there any levers at the top of your mind from your experience which you can use to make it nimbler and effective?
Yeah, of course. So one thing I have been thinking about, but I have really not been in a position to influence that. So I think we see very little collaboration. It's
Sure.
like cutthroat competition between, like you talked about four pillars, between the constituents of a pillar. So if I say vendors, okay,
Yeah.
so I don't see so much collaboration. Of course, everybody. If I look at the mobility industry, people go by 3GPP, but
Yeah.
there are ways where the vendors can work more too. I'll also give you an example. I'll come to that.
Sure.
I don't see that much happening, and same thing on the operator side. People are just there to, people are just competing, right? We have cutthroat competition, people dropping prices left, right, center,
Yeah.
just to gain market share. So I'll give you an example, and I've always thought about it, but I have not been in a influencing position to be really make a difference about it. So it is about this. You talked about OTT, right? We
Yeah.
talked about OTT threat to telecom operators.
Yeah.
So for a long time, we have been talking about telecom operators becoming pipes, right?
Yeah.
So from 3G onwards, we said, okay, it's a pipe. And though there have been a lot of discussions about value creation, moving up the value chain, it has not happened. It has not happened globally, not only in India.
Yeah.
So, and then OTT has come and they have taken over voice and video, right? Completely, and messaging. They've taken over. So
Yeah.
I always thought that, on the operator and the vendor side, there were competing technologies available. But just we didn't want to collaborate. I always thought that why can't the vendors come together, create something, and there aren't so many vendors out there if in the telecom world, right? It's a
Sure.
small world. If you count, you might find four major vendors and another set 10. I think that's the maximum, right? If you count everybody that's there.
Sure.
So why can't these people come together? We could have come together, all the operators could have come together, vendors, and successfully they could have fought the OTT threat. Never happened because everybody was looking at, okay, how do I look at my bottom line? How do I look at my top line? Nobody's thinking that how do I save my industry? So
Yeah.
now we are at a stage where it is de facto that voice video messaging is OTT, right? So
Yeah.
operators are pipe, and as we move into 5G, as in my role, I work globally, so we work a lot on 5G,
Sure.
and more we kind of, though of course there is a lot of effort from both vendors and operator side to move up the value chain, and hopefully we will with 5G. When I say we talk about, I talk about the
Yeah.
telecom industry.
Sure.
Hopefully we will, but I think we missed some chances during our 3G and 4G days. So that is one thing. If I have the control, I would like to foster more collaboration among the constituents of each of these pillars, and end of the day, derive more value for the industry. So
Glad.
that's what I would like to do.
Glad. I hope you get control someday.
Yeah,
so,
of course. Looking
so
forward.
yeah. So Koel, we spoke about a lot of your personal dimensions, a lot of your professional dimensions. How important is say IQ and EQ for you, right? I mean, you heard these words so often over the past, say, 5 to 6 years in the workplace, right? How do
Yeah.
you interpret these words?
So I think both are important. Of course, IQ and EQ both are important. So it is important to be. And IQ is something I think you are born with, little bit. So of course that is important. You need smartness. You need smart people to run the industry. But I would put more value on the EQ. So to be
Okay.
able to deliver something, to be able, because for me, I think passion is very important. As you say, I am myself very passionate about
Yeah.
everything that I do, right?
Absolutely.
And about my work, about my personal ambitions, what I want to do. And even at this age, I have, my passion levels are same as what I had 25 years back. So I think, that is where the emotion and passions come from. So I think it's to deliver on anything, I would rather prefer a person with a high EQ, and not so much with high IQ, because I think people can learn over time. But unless you have, a high level of EQ, you don't bring the passion. Uh, it's not. I don't think you can deliver things. And also, there has to be fun in the work you do. It's not like, we are
Yeah.
human beings, right? We are social animals, though we have been forced to become unsocial over last few months. But we love interacting, right? We love interacting. We love person to person connect. We love the energy. I think, lot of synapses, lot of new things that develop is through that human connection, through that energy that comes in. So yeah, so a little bit I am more on the EQ side than IQ. But of course there is a certain level of IQ that is required, especially in a high tech industry that we work in. So
Yeah.
we need certain level. There is a base level, but EQ is something, I think that is more important. So that's how I look at it when I
Absolutely.
hire people or when I work with people. I'm focusing more on that part.
A lot of them would be listening this as well. So Koel, the last part of this traction is we go to the fun quiz. But before we go there, if there is any question that you would want to ask, you can. Otherwise, if you want to pardon me, we can go to the fun quiz part.
No, but how did you think of doing this series? How did you get this idea?
Wow. So honestly, it was just so it was just a discussion that I was having with my wife, as to how do we kind of spread, or so honestly the discussion started from a point that, look, when we used to go to office every day, I mean, she herself is an HR in some organization, but when we go to the office every day, we talk to a lot of people. Small things from a lot of them leaves an impression in your mind, right? Suddenly what has happened post February or March is people have got vanished from around, right? You look at the same face
Yeah.
every day, you look at you talk to the same people every day, and then this routine of being on calls, being in meetings, going on team calls, going on customer calls is has become a bit too monotonous, right? So I was just thinking to why not talk to the people who have kind of left some or the other impression in my brain in some day and age, right? So I started connecting with some of those people, and you were definitely one of them. So that's how the thought came of talking to people. Quarantine toasters was just a word that just came up. I love the word roasting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in in all shapes as and form, and because we are quarantined, I just kind of plug that together. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was the that's the
Very
honest background
interesting.
to this. Yeah.
No, it's excellent. I think, please, looking forward to more episodes. Like, excellent work you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to hear that from you. Right. So we go to the fun quiz. Keep it keep it simple, keep it spontaneous, and keep it fun. So if you had to go back 20 years in your life, or say to be realistic, 23 years in your life, and write a letter to yourself, what would you advise your own self? Just think about
I
Koel
think,
minus 23.
yeah, I think, I would advise myself to be more patient. So, I'm very result driven. So, and as soon as I do something, I start expecting results. But life has taught me that results come, right? You don't
Okay.
have to, right? You just keep working in the direction you want. Results will come. It might take time. So, not to worry about results not coming. And not only to myself, I would like to advise to all the young people who are
Yeah.
at that age, that don't worry, focus on your work, results will come.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, so I just remember a dialogue from from MS Dhoni. he used to say this, that look, just focus on the process. If you follow the process, if you do the right things at the right time,
Yeah.
leave the results to the time. It will take
Yeah.
care of itself. Even if you don't win, that's completely fine. You would have at least known why
Yeah.
you have not won.
Yeah.
Glad. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Right. So hypothetically, in the new normal, what would be your reaction to the following? Absolutely no boss to report to. If you had a
So
situation wherein you had no boss to report to, what would be your reaction?
no, I would like to have a boss. I don't like a situation without a boss. I would like somebody to, exchange my ideas with and say whether I'm going the right direction. So I'll not be happy with it. I want my
You won't
boss.
go. Very good. All
Yeah.
right. Uh, no team to work with. What would be the scenario if you would have been an individual contributor?
No, I hate being an individual contributor. I have been managing people for a very very long time.
Sure.
So I don't I would quarantine or no quarantine. I want my team. So please don't take away my team.
What if you had no email access for a week?
No, I'll go mad. Don't tell me what will I do full day
See,
after my
exactly.
domestic
That is the
chores.
yeah. That
After
is
my
in.
domestic work, what will I do? So
See, this is
and
humanity at its best, right? Wherein we always ask for time. That shit, we are too busy in work, and when we say or imagine that, hey, the phone is off, or the phone is not accessible for a day, or email, we have this immediate anxiety attack. Shit, what's going to happen then?
no, but you give me, if I'm in a beach resort, if I'm up in the mountains, I'm happy to be without phone. You don't want to be stuck in your house without your email because you're not on a vacation. Come on, you're looking at the same people, same
It's a
surroundings. You go
staycation.
mad. Yeah, no, not at all. From today my broadband was down. Swapnil, we talked about it, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going crazy. So and then I called the Geo guys, set up my secondary broadband connection, and now I feel relieved that okay, I feel
yeah,
normal.
yeah.
So of course,
That's a
email
new normal.
access, of course, of
That's a new
course.
normal. So you have been in NCR for substantial year of your, or for
Yeah.
substantial time. How many metro lines does Delhi have?
Sorry, I am not a metro regular. I have no idea. Maybe five, six. I don't know.
When was the last time you have
This is our
traveled in the metro, or you have
No,
not?
I did. No,
Oh,
no,
you
no.
did?
I did. I did. The last time I traveled was in December. So
Ah,
I
okay,
went to meet my cousins in CP.
okay,
So I normally take this line. So I don't change lines. So I have
okay,
this Dwarka line that which
okay.
goes from Dwarka to
Sure,
Noida.
sure.
So the only place I go to in a metro is CP.
All
So
right. By
yeah.
the way, Delhi has 12 metro lines.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you for the knowledge. Next time somebody
What?
asks you, I will remember this answer.
All right. So, what is the worst advice you have got till now,
Worst advice.
without
No,
naming the person?
no, I don't look at advice as bad
Okay.
because that's the way I look at it. So even
Sure.
if there is always some learning out of it. See, the advice, somebody gives an advice, it is up to you whether to take it or not. So if you think that it is not applicable to me, I'll not take it. But I think there is always some learning associated with it. So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I always look at it positively. Maybe I will not take it. So so little bit fuzzy answer, but that's the
Yeah.
truth.
Good. But that was the truth. Yeah. So the last question we end with, it is an extremely basic question. What is the full form of job?
Oh, there is a full form. I have no idea.
Just give it a shot.
Job,
There
job,
are,
job.
there are a couple of
Joy
them.
of joy of whatever. B. No, sorry, not getting it. You tell me.
Right. So one of the full form is junior officer batch, which used to be
Really
applicable in
sounds very
1950s.
government.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And
sounds
then
very
the actual
government.
full form that I'm aware of is jump on board.
Okay,
That's right. So that's
that
how.
sounds better. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
better.
So yeah, so historically, job was written with an exclamation mark, that hey, I've got a job, or hey, you have been selected for this job, etc. So yeah, that's a
I'll give
simple.
you. I just made up one. I just made up one. Okay,
God,
let me give you. Joy of bashing. So
joy of
sometimes,
bashing. Wow, joy of bashing the
yeah, bash
subordinates, or joy of bashing the peers, joy of bashing the.
anybody. It doesn't happen. It just happen in reality, but we love to imagine it. No,
Yeah.
it goes back to college. If I say,
Okay.
some professors whom you don't like, so there's always this is an
Wow.
imagination. This never happens, but the joy you feel while thinking about it, I think that gives a lot of kick.
I don't
So
know how many of your reportees or your managers would be looking at this face of yours, but it's wonderful
it's a
catching up.
it applies to everyone. It
Yeah,
applies to everyone. I know it applies to they all we feel good. Not
of
only
course.
colleagues, right?
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
badmouth you on the road. You can't bash him up, right? But you can think that okay, I will. So that's the joy,
of
Just the
course,
feeling,
of
you know.
course. And definitely, you have that energy sustained for 25 years, Koel. But thank you very much. I think it's been a great conversation, and most importantly, I'm sure people would learn a lot from you, and the inspiration would just go on. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sapnil.
Thank you.
It's
Have a
been
good
great
day.
talking to you.
Bye.